Hi, John here to talk a little bit about the recent film release from the Asylum, MegaShark vs. MechaShark. But this isn't really so much my review of that movie as it is my review of Albert Berg's review of it. My friend Mr. Berg is a prolific author, co-founder and co-host of the Human Echoes podcast, and, like myself, is a fan of the Asylum films. He posted a video review of MegaShark vs. MechaShark, which you can watch by clicking right here, or find the link in the video description. But in a nutshell, here's his review of the movie. Roll tape.
One of my favorite Asylum movies ever. This is the best of everything. Giant Mega Shark versus giant robot shark. The single greatest thing to ever be in a movie ever. Yes, 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 yes! I love it to pieces. It was essentially the best thing ever. So good. It's that awesome. I like that.
Okay, that's all wrong. None of that's correct. No. Look, giant shark terrorizes the seas. Awesome. I'm cool with that. It's happened twice before in Asylum films, so for this third outing, they're preparing to combat this giant murderous shark with a giant weaponized sheet metal robot shark. Basically, a militarized submarine that looks like a shark for some reason. But for the sake of Asylum's theatricality, I can get behind this, so I'm in. Let's get behind the Asylum, journey with compelling and dynamic characters through challenging and gut-wrenching adventures, and embrace the fantastic. And that's the problem. Look, I'm not going to retread the whole movie right here. You can watch Albert's review for a more comprehensive and fair assessment of the movie. I just want to point out where this movie lacks in fantasticality. I see the title MegaShark vs. MechaShark, and I'm thinking, I'm preparing for some pretty amazing and intense stuff. But this should be sustained by characters actually interpreting their circumstances with dueling titan monsters as amazing and intense. But nothing in the whole movie even comes close to Mr. Berg's enthusiastically emotional reaction to it. Let's review. Here's main character Rosie, the one and only person trained to pilot this giant weaponized mechanical shark. It's a brand new piece of high-tech submersible armament, and she's taking it out for some test runs before actually engaging in combat against MegaShark, because that actually does make sense. But before heading out for a shark fight, they're first introduced to a second, even newer, even bigger, and more powerful robot shark that they're going to use instead.
I dig it.
Couldn't tell. That, by the way, is an indicator of the level of enthusiasm we can expect out of Rosie. This new robot shark is one that she hasn't been trained to pilot, hasn't taken out on test runs, and doesn't have installed the special artificial intelligence that handles navigation and weapons targeting. Let's go hunt sharks. What could possibly go wrong? First encounter, Rosie fires a torpedo at the MegaShark, misses, and kills 436 seamen. Her reaction?
I'm locking on.
Regroup. Rosie fires another torpedo, again missing MegaShark, setting off a chain reaction that destroys an undersea oil pipeline, causing
toxic contamination, petroleum hydrocarbon embryo impairment, biochemical immune system damage to sea life, coastal erosion, not to mention...
Okay, enough.
Okay, maybe you're rethinking your strategy? Nah, that would just make sense. Let's fire another torpedo instead, this time taking out a whole boatload of seamen. And only then does Rosie begin to consider this entire movie a total failure. But don't fear, it only takes her 10 seconds to shake it off.
Okay, I'm back.
Let's fire another torpedo, and yep, you guessed it. Rosie misses the target and gets buried under a mountain of rubble. A fitting analogy to this entire movie. Now, sure, more stuff happens. After all, these are giant, scary creatures, and they bring chaos and mayhem. But just like Rosie's general indifference to her circumstances, the viewer is given no real opportunity to connect with this story. There's no tension, no build-up to the blink-and-you-miss-it action. Boom, boom, boom. MegaShark takes out a fishing boat. MegaShark takes out a drilling platform. MegaShark flattens a battleship. And yes, MegaShark makes other attacks and causes more destruction, but we don't get to see it. We're only told about it.
The Coast Guard is reporting a flotilla of Red Cross support ships were sunk by the Meg in the mid-Atlantic. It's the 7th attack in a week.
Because that stuff isn't in the budget. Know what else isn't in the budget? MegaShark versus MechaShark. You know, the title of the movie. Out of an hour and 25 minutes of movie, we only get the MegaShark actually versing the MechaShark for, well, let's count. Can you get a clock? Okay, go. So that's what that feels like. Out of 85 minutes of MegaShark versus MechaShark, the enemies are only versing for barely 1.5 of them. And if my math is correct, that's only 1.8% versing. 1.8%. Leaving over 98% lie. 98% lie. And don't even get me started on the whole Stacy thing. Well, now I'm started on the whole Stacy thing. When the novelty of giant monster shark fights has pretty much run its course, we need a new crisis. So, now we have Stacy, a 6-year-old girl who, in the span of 8 minutes, gets lost 3 times. Wait, how old did you say she is?
She's 6 years old.
Okay, so unless she's Wilt chambermaid, Stacy is not 6 years old. I know because I have a kid who used to be 6 years old, and who went to school with hundreds of other kids who used to be 6 years old. And because 6-year-old Stacy is played by an actress more than twice her age, and who is the average height for a kid much older than 6 years old. So what are you trying to pull on us, Asylum? Did you make Stacy 6 years old because it just wasn't believable that a preteen girl would try to make friends with a giant robot shark with glowing red eyes that just destroyed half your city, but a 6-year-old just might? My apologies on behalf of the Asylum to all the level-headed 6-year-olds out there. Or maybe Stacy's mother just misspoke in a moment of confusion and didn't mean to say Stacy was 6 years old. Kind of like when an actor's agent says, "You should be in Asylum films," when what they meant to say is, "Who are you again?" So, Asylum. Don't get me wrong. I dig your stuff. Your movies are a lot of fun. Schlocky and cornball maybe, but fun. And I think that's kind of the point. Just not this one. Like many third entries to a film franchise, MegaShark vs. MechaShark takes the stage with all the enthusiasm of a sleeping pill and lands with a dull thud. And Mr. Berg, I'm sure by now you understand and maybe even agree on just what a disappointing bucket of rotted chum this movie really is.
It sucked. It was boring. Just right off into the sunset. Do your thing. Leave us alone.
My work here is done.